Oh boy, Chewy.
What was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens, and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So.
Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not supposed to happen, baby. Oh, well,
It just stopped in the middle.
Let's just go ahead and get started. Hey, everybody, it's the Weird Whatever podcast. And, of course, we're starting off with technical difficulties. And Chewy, my dog, has not barked for the last hour. But as soon as we go live on the air, boy, he's got some stuff to say today.
The very second we went live.
I'll tell you what, it's calamity, but it would not be the Weird Whatever podcast without a little bit of calamity. It's not supposed to go right, y'all.
I think it's that Mercury in retrograde.
So is that Mercury in retrograde? Does that last 43 years? Because that's kind of what's been going on in my life. Vicky,
I don't know.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I want to jump right into our field trip. As we all know, the crew went to the DoubleTree in Port St. Lucie, Old Hammock Park. What's going on with the sound?
It sounded like somebody's source was feeding back into itself.
Beckett, are you wearing headphones?
No, because I have my phone plugged in. Should I put them in?
I don't know. It's just this isn't. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the best opening, not the best start for our podcast. But let me go ahead and get right into the DoubleTree stuff. Vicky, so you feel like you possibly brought home something from the DoubleTree. We talked a little bit about it on the KVJ show. I would like to hear your perspective. We go out there to the DoubleTree just to kind of show the people what was going on. The one thing people do need to know, we tried to Facebook Live out there, and it didn't do it. Technology was shutting down there, Vicky. That's kind of a common thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that technically can happen anytime you have like spirits involved. Who knows? Could have been faulty reception, but we made it a purpose to go back into the park to do the Facebook Live. And we went through that whole rigmarole and it didn't work. First of all, though, I'd like to say I am so proud that we actually planned and executed a field trip.
Well,
I agree.
I agree too, but just so people don't think we're slackers, it's tough to get us all together. It really is. We were wanting to do this for a long time, and I want to thank everybody from Port St. Lucie for coming out there. The Pizzle people are great people. They're my people. I love the Pizzle people.
Yep. So when we were out at the tree, we did an EVP session, and I did say if there was anyone there, if there was a victim, that I would help them to let me know. So I was in the car, and everything seemed fine. I saged a bunch of people before we left. Beckett actually almost got a nice saging of his hair because he flipped his lovely locks right in the middle of the saging, and it actually hit the sage bundle. So
I think it's
I'm
more
driving.
effective that way.
Yeah. I'm driving. I get off the turnpike because I'm dropping someone off. And all of a sudden, the CD ejects from my CD player in the car. Now realize the car has a touch screen, and that's the primary source to be able to, take a CD out. There is a hard button on the outside, but nothing's near it or anything. So we kind of looked at each other, and I was like, that's never happened, but we marked it down for coincidence. I dropped her off. I got back on 95, and, I called my daughter, and I'm talking to her on the way home. I was a couple exits from home, and I had this weird, it was like a pressure on my throat without actually choking me. And at first I made a joke. I said, "Oh, I hope I didn't bring Schaefer home."
I don't know if that's a funny joke, Vicky.
And no, here's the funny part. I said, "I hope I didn't bring Schaefer home." And my daughter says, "You're not his type." And I said, "Yeah, I know."
Vicky, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're having technical difficulties. This is such a great story. Beckett, we think your phone is giving feedback. Can you put some headphones? Do you have headphones on?
Does it go away when I mute it? I'll get my headphones.
Okay, thank you. As you were, Vicky.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm like one exit away, and I'm still talking to my daughter, and I realize that I have this pressure, but I'm not choking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I brought home a victim, not Schaefer, because I said I would help them. And whoever it was hitched a ride to my house. And whenever I mentioned them, I would feel the pressure. If I stopped talking about it, it would go away. Whoever it was did not stay. So they went back to wherever they came from. But I think the CD was to get my attention. And then the pressure, without hurting me and actually choking me, was my clue that it was a victim, not Schaefer.
Yeah, I got to tell you too, just on the technology level, Vicky, that whole thing was a mess. All of the videos that was taken, they're not uploading. They're disappearing. Even sweet Denny's over here is befuddled and bewildered by it.
Okay. I know that my audio, it was windy, and these recorders are sensitive. But every time I asked a question, it was like a tornado was going through there. I mean, you should hear how loud the wind is in these recorders. There's no way I could have possibly caught an EVP. There's way too much background noise.
Not to mention, there was a lot of people talking in the background, which kind of really muddies the investigation, in my opinion. But I do want to show a small clip of what we did out there at the DevilTree. Now, this is a 35-second clip of Vicky talking to the victims, asking questions, or even Schaefer. You were just asking questions to whatever was out there. We had the recorder going, and I just wanted to show a little clip to the people who've never been out there, kind of what the DevilTree would look like, and just picture in your mind too. You're being marched out to your death in this kind of surrounding, which is just absolutely horrifying. Here we go.
Area. You want to take credit for it or you want to deny it. You can say that on the recorder as well. If you're still out here, please leave me a message on the recorder. We can help you. You don't have to keep doing this.
So that's a little bit of the process. Audience, if you're watching still through all the technical difficulties today, was that video very slow, kind of like in choppy mode?
Yeah, is that the way it came out in filming, or is that the way it's coming out when you're broadcasting it tonight?
It's coming out the way it's broadcasting. For whatever reason, we're just having horrific technical difficulties tonight. But that's the process, out in the woods. You ask the questions and you go back and you see if there's anything of noteworthy to talk about.
Now, we do have a listener who did some video that was out there, and she did capture an EVP. So we're trying to get a clean clip of that for you. And,
how do you know? How do you know it's a clean EVP? Do you know this listener very well?
Yeah, well, we've already, yes. She was standing near me when she would have taken it, but she's the one who rode in the car with me. And I've listened to it. My team members have listened to it. And my daughter, we have all listened to it. And we agree that it's not background noise, but just to eliminate the fact, she is putting it through a program called Audacity to try to, double check that it wasn't a real person.
Well, it was fun stuff. Thank you to everybody who came out there. We're going to do some more field trips. Port St. Lucie does not like to wear masks, that's for sure. I thought Port St. Lucie was looking at me like a little bitch. I turned to Denny. He's like, I think Port St. Lucie thinks I'm a bitch for wearing a mask over here. Beckett, did you have fun?
I had a blast. My headphones are being dropped off, so I'll switch in 2 minutes. I had a blast. I was a little scared. I've not that I make fun of hearing about night terrors. I just don't really have them. I've been having some weird dreams. Not necessarily scary, just really weird.
Horny dreams.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah, I figured. And Birdie, you were scared. Did you? How did you feel after?
I mean, I was okay afterwards. It definitely helps to be around other people. Like if I went by myself, it would definitely be a lot worse. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely feel something. Like when we got to the area that Vicky thought the true, like you could definitely, it's like a heaviness that kind of falls. There was definitely times where there was like we would be in shade the whole time and all of a sudden it would just get really chilly all of a sudden. So there was weird things that happened like that. And mentally I was just like, nope. Like,
Okay,
do not.
This is what's coming into my my Twitter messenger. So you guys basically went out there and captured nothing. Cool story, guys. All right.
Well, no, as soon as we identify and make sure that we have eliminated and not falsely said that we have an EVP, we do have what I believe to be an EVP. We just have to make sure 100% that it's not someone talking under their breath.
I do want to remind everybody, all the weirdos listening, if you do have any kind of weird phenomenon, ghost, UFO, creepy, amphibian man, whatever you got, please send us your video. We do want to analyze them so when we play them, they can kind of stutter and not play in real time. No, but for real, I would like to start analyzing the videos. A Peace Train, if I want to play another video, do you think it's gonna shit the bed on me?
So are you playing it? Yeah, just that one. I mean, I heard all the audio fine. It was a little skippy in the beginning.
Let's see. I did some things. I'm gonna see if it works a little bit better now. Which one did you want, Bird?
So we talked a little bit about this on the KVJ show. What's the scariest scene from a movie you've ever seen? 'Cause I'm going to show you what, in my opinion, was the scariest scene. Now, keep in mind, when I first saw this scene in this movie, I was probably 8 years old, and I thought it was horrifying. And each week, I'd like you all to bring in what you think the scariest scene from a movie is. And this one's from Friday the 13th. And it's the first time Jason, I don't know, I think it's the first time you see his face full on. This is 1 minute long, but I think it's horrifying.
Let me know.
Horrifying. That ain't good. Oh my God. I mean, he's gone, Beckett. So, oh, hell no! At 8 years old, that was horrifying. And I got to tell you, at 43, it still kind of scares me. So,
the one where he jumps out is scary too. That's an homage to that one, right?
It is, yes. And I don't want to give away too much if no one's ever seen the Friday the 13th movies. But
Sleepaway Camp wasn't the scariest thing you've ever seen.
Sleepaway Camp is a very campy movie, pun intended, and the ending is remarkable.
The whole movie's for that last 5 minutes.
It is. But so that's you guys' homework assignment for next week. Bring in a scene. I'm not sure who I'm going to pick, so everybody be ready.
I already got mine.
Oh, nice, Denny's. Well, since you're so vocal over there, I think it might be time for some Denny's
Random Facts.
Woo, woo, woo. Oh, and before we get into Denny's Random Facts, please, the comment section, let me know what you think the all-time scariest scene of a movie is from. I'd love to hear it. Maybe we'll play some of them. It's Halloween time, so it's time to
Ooh.
get creepy. Okay, Denny's random facts. Denny's gives us just a beautiful amount of factoids. Vicky, our educator, she grades them. If they're awesome, she gives them an A, and if they're terrible, he gets an F. Denny's, the floor is yours.
So this is a pretty random one. Llamas that spend too much time around humans are prone to something called berserk llama syndrome. Uh, such llamas believe that humans, eventually, they believe humans are llamas, and then they start treating them and showing dominance like they would to other llamas. And people have been attacked pretty horrifically by this. And it's when they hold them in captivity and feed them and keep them away from other llamas. This seems to happen. If they put them out with other llamas and they live amongst llamas and then interact with humans, it doesn't happen. So it's a way of actually kind of messing up their llama existence.
I can attest for this factoid. Llamas are dicks. That's a fact. And you can take that one to the bank. I used to love llamas until one tried to attack me on my birthday, Brittany.
How dare.
They're pretty strong.
They are. Yeah, they don't mess around. Vicky, what do you give that?
C.
A what?
A C.
Damn. C. Man, Vicky ain't playing tonight.
I just know that he is so much better than that particular factoid. I know he can
Berserk
do better.
llama? Berserk llama.
So much
syndrome.
Wow. All right. Okay, Denny's. You're really okay, Sandbagger. What do you got next?
Let's see. This is kind of interesting, and I've seen similar studies to this, but research shows that mirrors in public places like retail stores improves customer behavior by increasing their self-awareness subconsciously. The study shows that people are less likely to act jerky or crazy if they can see themselves. Psychology.
Vicky does not look impressed.
No.
In fact, I thought her screen froze, but then I just realized she's pissed.
They've also done studies where if people are giving money, if they put a set of eyes somewhere that watches over where the money is being deposited, people are more likely to give more money because they feel judged.
Stop selling it, Denny's. The dream is
Psychologically, that's just a free tidbit.
over. Vicky, what do you give the grade on?
I'm sorry, but that's another C.
Damn, dog.
Damn, I'm a C student today.
Hey, you're looking at a C student. Got me through high school. All right, give us something else. Give us something we can really put our teeth in, Big D.
You want something to put your teeth into then? Let's see. There's a subway station in the Chinese city of Nanjing where they have vending machines that sell live crabs. The crabs are kept at 0 to 10 Celsius, not enough to freeze them, but enough to keep them docile, and people actually eat them live on the subway on their way home. It's a delicacy.
Well, I always say if we grew up with, eating roaches, hey, I'll take that fried roach sandwich. Eating roaches wouldn't be a weird thing to us. It's all how you're raised.
They sell like fried crickets in other countries. When they go to the movie theater, instead of popcorn, you eat fried crickets. Or fried caterpillars, too.
How depressing is that? Caterpillars instead of popcorn, Vicky.
They candy them, though. It's the same thing.
What the shit?
It's high protein.
Well, you're moving up on the grading scale at least. So it was really interesting. So at first I was going to give it an A, but then it was also like kind of creepy and disgusting. So I'm going to average you out at a B.
Wow, I would think a creepy, disgusting factoid would be a higher mark on the weird and whatever, but I am a student as well, Denny's.
Oh, yeah. Well, a little fun fact. If you get a dead crab, which is kind of gross, they will give you 3 free ones. So that's actually their big slogan on their machine.
Thank God.
Crabs.
Let's see. What do you guys think about this?
Crabs always gross me out, Denny's, because my dad caught one time and we cooked it and we found out that it was pregnant because it had a sponge on it. And ever since then, I'm like, screw crabs.
Yeah, I used to
Texas.
fish a lot, and I left a bucket of crabs outside for like maybe a few days longer than I should have. And I opened that thing, and it was rough. That smell will haunt me. You ever have a smell that forever is imprinted in you? That if I smell anything similar to it, it immediately takes me to that moment, as if I opened a sarcophagus.
Would you
Yeah.
would you rather have that smell 24 hours a day for the rest of your life, or have crabs, like pubic crabs, permanently for the rest of your life?
Cubic crabs and real crabs.
I
What,
rather
what,
smell.
what do you take? The crab smell or the?
The crab smell's rough, man. It's vomitable. I don't even think you could survive it. I would say I'd have to take pubic crabs.
Damn, poor sweet Jen, your wife.
We're gonna be crab people. That's just what happens.
Wow.
All right. Keep it going, Peace Train. You're on a roll now.
So there's a Chinese panda named Ai Hin that was believed to be pregnant. She was showing signs of increased appetite, less movement. So the zookeepers were trying to ensure that she was well taken care of, and they gave her extra food, a single room with air conditioning, all these sorts of luxuries. But then the time that she was supposed to give birth, she didn't, and they looked into it, and the panda wasn't pregnant. So fast forward a little bit longer, this started happening again. They're pampering the panda, and again the panda wasn't pregnant. So they had researchers come in, and they found out that pandas are smart enough to fake pregnancy to get pampering at zoos.
Wow.
So
There's the
watch out for
Denny's
them.
that we know is capable of AIDS.
Every
Did
time
you-
you think we're the smartest creatures, you read something, you're like, wow, we're dumb.
Oh
We-
my gosh.
It's crazy.
Ever since I saw that horse paint that picture, I'm like, humans, whatever. That was for you, Beckett. You
Well, we're so
horse-loving
smart,
son of
we
a
get in our-
bitch.
We're so smart, we get in our own way, in my opinion.
Yeah, you could have the John Mayer "I'm overly too clever" effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could have that.
What do you guys think about this? Ethical or not ethical? Cool or not cool? There's an exclusive service for wealthy people living in Russia where you hire ambulance taxis. They're extraordinarily luxurious. And they're appointed ambulances that you hire for $200 an hour that they blow sirens and they blast through traffic, and everybody moves thinking it's a real ambulance, but really you're just hiring a fake ambulance to get you from A to B quickly.
That's
Incredibly unethical.
humanity.
It's a common like taxi service over there. You can get fake ambulances.
Well, if it's that common, I mean,
You wonder if people start. That's one of the problems it's caused. Is people are less likely to react to ambulances because they're expecting
Yeah.
it might be a fake one.
Well, that's what's happening with fake news. It's like little boy who cried wolf. If you erode confidence in anything, whether it's judicial system, the legal system, like any of those things, then people just say, "Oh, well, it's all fake and nothing's true," and that becomes a really dystopian condition. So that's horrible. That sucks.
Birdie, did you have something to add on?
I was just like disgusted with humanity. Just kind of like what Beckett was saying. It's like cry wolf, where then when they actually need an ambulance, they're gonna be like, this guy always calls me just to get from point A to B, and now they're gonna die.
Has
They probably deserved.
everybody here been in an ambulance before? Birdie has not. Vicky has not. Beckett, have you been in an ambulance? Have you been in an
Yeah,
ambulance?
yeah.
Beckett, you're brother. I love you, but your sound is just.
It's
horrific.
when you talk and he's unmuted. So
Got it. I'll fix it.
Okay.
I think he was trying to reply to you when you were asking him.
Yeah, go ahead. The floor's yours, Beckett. We had a real smooth dialogue going on here.
Well, what I was going to say is one night I thought the responsible thing to do was to pull over because I had some drinks down in Fort Lauderdale and I was tired. And I pulled over, fell asleep, and I woke up. I pulled over in a KFC. It was closed. And I woke up to firefighters knocking on my window. I was like, oh, my gosh. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. They're like, dude, what are you doing? Can't sleep in your car? The manager was freaked out because you fell asleep. So they're like, listen, you can either come with us or you can talk to the cops when they get here. We think you should come with us. So I was like, let's go. So it's a very, very embarrassing, self-deprecating story. But West Palm Beach Fire Department was cool enough to cart me off. And I actually had to go to the Wellington Hospital and get checked in. And then they were like, well, what's wrong? The doctor. I was like, well, this is what happened. They're like, all right, you're free to go. So that was a pretty low point in my life. I think I was
Speaking
23.
of stories of people using their getting lucky and taking advantage of the system, Beckett.
Oh.
Wow, that's quite a tale, Beckett.
I got more of them, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Denny's, have you been in an ambulance before?
Well, so not as a person who needed medical assistance, but accompanying somebody who needed medical assistance.
That's crazy. I have been in an ambulance. I'm not kidding you. At least 10 times.
That doesn't surprise
It's
me.
expensive.
But a lot of it's not even show
Only
related.
10?
Yeah. Most of it's not show related. That's crazy.
Most of them are not.
Well,
It's
I mean,
very
To make it
expensive,
better or worse.
as a kid, I had stitches galore. I was in an ambulance quite a bit in my life and in my adult life. Well, I guess I am weird. Denny's, what else you got? Give us one more really just knock us on our asses.
All right, well, so here, let me throw a real quick. This is just like kind of just a popcorn one, and then I'll end with like a bigger one. But so there's they found a new species of ant in Manhattan between 63rd on Broadway medians between 63rd and 76th Street that only exists in that one area, and they named it the Manhattan. So that was just a fun one. But so here's the real one. That one I just tried to throw because I thought it was awesome. Let's see here. So Canada, the Canadian government will actually pay you to come to Canada and live in Canada. They'll pay for your visa just to plant trees. They're trying an initiative to add more trees to the planet and help the environment, but they're finding it hard. And can you guys guess why they find it hard?
Because that's what she said.
Oh,
Bernie. See,
they're
Denny's,
finding it.
You ain't the only one with jokes around these parts.
Oh yeah,
That's
oh yes. They're finding it difficult because the younger generation doesn't want to do it. They want to work in the internet, and
They want to be a YouTuber, man.
so Canada is asking for other countries. They'll pay for your work visa, all that stuff, the taxes, just so you can come out and plant trees for them.
I can
Because
just
they
live in
can't get
Canada
anyone else to do it.
for planting trees.
Yeah, in fact, I found an article from Forbes published in 2019. Yeah, and anyone can do it. It pays well, and you can live out there.
Something about planting trees, just a little FYI. Many people consider that a very spiritual act. They feel very at peace when they're planting trees. Just a little FYI there. If you if you're struggling with depression, if you're struggling with some panic disorder or anxiety, I highly recommend just give yourself 10 minutes out in nature. Take a walk. Go by a tree, go look at the birds, walk by a lake, 10 minutes. And I bet you any money, your mood enhances. Go on, Denny's.
Well, so they were saying Johnny Appleseed, he was planting all those apples, but it wasn't like a traditional apple plant, like an apple. He was planting an apple tree. The apples that he was planting was for hard apple cider. It was to make alcohol, and he was doing it to put them all around. So it was just kind of like a random tidbit.
You know, it's so weird. Out in Oregon, the cider game is so big. You know how we have the craft beer down here in Florida? You go out to Oregon, it's so many cider places, just like the craft beer industry out here.
Yeah, it's cool. So there's all these. I mean, they've been around forever, but like mead is like in, which is like this honey alcohol. Then you got the ciders. Then you got the seltzers. There's so many variations of alcohol now. There's just so many, and they're all it's weird how they come in and out of style. Like what was cool. Like think about Zima. They were talking about bringing back Zima, or maybe they did. I don't know. But that went so hardcore out of style. And then it came back kind of hardcore back in style. It just shows you we're just so fickle. We never actually ever are happy with what we have. We always need something new.
It also shows that we're easily duped, man. We are so
Totally.
easily excited. All it takes is 10,000 shares on Facebook and everyone thinks it's a legit thing.
Psychology.
Psychology is arguably the most important thing out there.
It is.
It applies to every single thing you do in your life.
Well, I can even hear it. There's a commercial that we run during the morning show, and I haven't had a soda since the last day of September, Vicky. And there's this one commercial where you hear them opening up the Coke, and you can hear the bubbles kind of leaving the bottle, and it makes my mouth it instantly makes me have a headache. I want caffeine. I want a Coke. It's crazy. It's all psychology.
Oh yeah, you're getting triggered. It's designed to do that. In fact, what was it? We talked about on the KVJ show, that one documentary about advertising. Advertising is arguably the root of all evil. It's essentially convincing people to buy things they don't necessarily need. It becomes wants are real big. So once they figured out that that's how you get people to buy things, and that works pretty well, they applied that fundamental to everything. If you look at even like video games, the way you kind of pay to play, I guess they call it, or the freemium model they use, all of that is designed psychologically to get you excited and then to hit a wall to where you either pay money to move past that wall or you have to work hard to get past that wall. It's one of the two. And a lot of times that instant gratification is what they're seeking because they know that's for $1. Hey, for $1 you don't have to deal with this. You can go on to the next level. People pay that. I mean, you get 50 people that pay that's $50. I mean, obviously they're on a much larger scale, but they've applied that to everything. Commercials,
it's so annoying
clothing.
because we used to not have that. Like they act as though like, well, this has always been the way it is. I'm like, no, like you're making us pay extra money for DLCs or whatever it is because you can. And it's like you just think 20 years, what else are we going to be paying for that we are not paying for now because it's just been accepted?
It's the Apple theory. I'm really going in on Apple these days because Apple produces shit that doesn't work on purpose just so we'll buy more shit. Damn it, Steve Jobs.
And it's expensive.
It's so expensive. Beckett, this shitty phone that's already not even working, probably user error. But with that said, $800.
It's really expensive, but I agree with everything everyone's saying. The only thing I would say is what isn't psychology? More things are psychology for a long period of time, whether it's, dating, business, sales, all that stuff is psychology. There's actually more things that are psychology than aren't. The reason I justify a really fancy iPhone other than sexting is it's sales. It's what do you use more for productivity? Sure, you can use it for bad things too, but if you're using it effectively, man, it could pay for itself. God forbid something bad happens and you need to dial 911. You got to look something up. You got to call to make that business call that's really important. I think that it's money well spent usually, and they last for a long time nowadays.
Speaking of advertising,
yeah,
who paid you, Beckett?
Yeah, thanks, Steve Jobs.
He's right. The game has changed with the phones. Like everybody still, we use the term smartphone. It's not technically a phone anymore. A phone is almost a peripheral activity. It does.
Computer.
It is. It's a computer. It's a portable computer. If you think of it like that, it makes it less devastating when you have to get a new one.
Okay, so we got Steve Jobs and we got Wozniak in here. What's that one guy's name?
Steve Wozniak.
Yeah. You both working for Apple now?
Yeah, just something to think about.
I'm just busting your guys' apples. I'm just messing. I'm just messing about. Okay, I do want to. Great job, Denny's, on the random facts. Very, very good round. I do want to see what's on everyone's mind. You all supposed to bring in a topic to spur on some conversation. Let's start with Birdney.
All right, so science and myth for this week. Is it a myth or is it actually a scientific fact that your heart is the size of your fist?
I think that is a myth, Denny's.
I'm pretty sure the heart is like kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't measured it in a while.
Do you measure your heart?
I try.
I'm gonna say that is it's not the same size, Birdie. I think it's slightly bigger. What's the answer?
It is a fact that your heart, based on when you're growing up, is about the size of your fist. So if you're a child or a baby, that's around the size of your heart, and you grow. So there you go. That is actually a fact.
I got walls around this heart, Birdie. I got walls. Can't break these walls down.
Break them down.
All right, Mr. Beckett. Thank you, Birdie. I will never forget that factoid. My heart is the size of a heart. Okay, Beckett, what do you got?
Your fist.
So what I was mentioning earlier, after Deviltry, I've been having some weird dreams. I wouldn't say scary dreams, but weird dreams. So I was going to talk to Vicky maybe afterwards, but I was curious if you guys in the audience would be interested if I did a sleep dream analysis and ask Vicky if she finds that interesting, a waste of time, because I'm seriously considering maybe doing it next week.
So here's what I think we should do. We give you 30 seconds on the clock to tell your dream, and the audience gets to vote. Does Beckett continue, or does he stop the dream story?
It's not that exciting. It's just a bunch of weird pop-up stuff. Sure, girls pop up every once in a while because I'm a womanizer, apparently.
Damn.
I'm just kidding, kind of.
No, we could do a dream segment next week.
Okay, I'll totally, and I'll be serious about it. I'll actually jot down each morning what my dreams are about, so it's actually a little bit more top of mind, so I don't forget anything, and then I'll report back. And I promise you guys in the audience, I won't filter anything. It's weird or whatever, I'll convey it.
Yeah, it's crazy when it comes to dreams. I find that to be such an untapped area that experts say they know a lot, and I guess they know a lot for what they can learn, but what can you really learn? Sweet Pea. Sorry, podcast, if you're just listening on the audio, that's going to be annoying. There's going to be a lot of hiccups on the audio podcast for this round. We got to possibly think about getting back in a room together, y'all.
I'm down next week, whatever you guys want.
Yeah, this Zoom stuff's starting to get really whack. I want to be able to play videos for the nice people, and I just feel like we all can connect better in the room. If you guys are, go ahead, Vicky.
If we come back to the studio next week, that's near Halloween, and I think everyone should have to wear a costume like we said last year, and only 2 people complied.
Well, you know what? This just in. Next week, we're coming back here in the living room, and we're wearing costumes.
All right, if that's okay.
Okay, guys, calm down.
Sounds awesome.
I was expecting more of a, yeah, man.
Woo!
Okay.
I was muted, but I was wooing.
Thank you, Beckett. I felt your positivity. Okay, let's see here, Vicky. What do you got for us?
Real quick, a couple weekends ago, I went to Long Island, and so we set on the GPS to go past the Amityville house. So we turn on Ocean Avenue, which is where it's at, and it's such a cute little street. And the GPS said it was going to be on our right-hand side. So I'm primarily looking at that side, and we're looking at all the cute decorations. There's Halloween, there's fall. Well, we look over to the left, and we're like, oh my God, that's so cool. They had these full-size werewolf decorations. I mean, like 7-foot werewolves in their yard. And I'm like, oh, it's so cool. So we keep going. And my friend's like, well, the GPS says we passed it. And I'm like, there's no way we passed it on the right-hand side. Let's turn around and come back. So we turn around and come back, and I'm looking at the numbers. Sure enough, the Amityville house was the one with the werewolves. We were so obsessed with the decorations, we didn't even realize we were looking at the actual house. And so we went by there. I didn't get anything other than sad. That was the only emotion I felt there. I felt a little sad.
Can I get a hell yeah if you're a werewolf fan out there?
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Ooh, I love werewolves. I've loved werewolves since I was a kid. Love it.
Are you a Twilight fan, Jaybird?
Twilight Zone, not Twilight.
Beckett, get out of here.
You talking about Twilight with Patterson? With the vampire baseball bullshit? Hell no.
No, the one all the ladies liked.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Beckett.
that's the one. That is
That
the one.
one.
No, I wasn't a big fan of it. In fact, I used to make fun of it a lot when I was on Wild 95.5. And man, oh man, the Twilight fans wanted to kick me in the balls. I'd always make fun of Bella because I thought Bella was just such a lame character. She was so emo. It's like, come on, you got this great vampire guy.
Whatever happened to emo kids?
They're still there.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
They're They're just singing a sad song, Bergny.
They're all in safe spaces.
Where are they?
We're gonna get one email from emo person. Damn it, Beckett! I'm in a safe space. How dare thee?
Some emotional email.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, Beckett.
Denny's, why don't you end this segment and then I'll end it with something that I want to talk about. But yeah, give us what you got.
So usually I bring something heavy. This one's kind of lighter this week. And it's actually just because I don't know if anyone's ever come across this, and maybe it's semi a PSA, especially as we approach the holiday season. But as a lot of people I'm sure do, I order things off Amazon.com to have delivered. But have you noticed, and I don't know, you'll see a product from a company, and for like $15 less, you'll see that same product more or less, but it's like slightly different, but it's still like of that company. Well, I found out that there are these third-party companies making knockoffs of real things, and they still name it the same exact thing. In fact, one of the things I purchased was a camera, and it was a Logitech camera, but when I went to Logitech's website, it actually is not one of their model numbers. And if you look at the font, it's a slightly different font than Logitech. And it was only like $15 less. So I'm like, it's like kind of like a dumb ploy or whatever. But the reason I bring it up is that I don't know if it's just the shape. I moved into a house and it's the shape of it. But my internet, is like decent internet. But it drops out so often if you're on one side of the house. So I was going to buy one of those repeaters, but my head's spinning because every time I go on Amazon, there's so many of these third party. I can't find which one's actually real. I can't find a real company that sells one of these things unless you actually go into a store. And so I found a couple like from Netgear and Linksys, but if you even look, a lot of those are fake. They're not even real. If you go to Linksys's website or Netgear's website, they're not even real products. So I guess it's kind of just a PSA if you're doing any shopping to double check everything you're buying off Amazon. No offense to Amazon, I get they're a big company or whatever, but just double check what you're ordering because a lot of that stuff's not real. It's a knockoff. Even though it has the real brand name on it, it's a knockoff of the brand name.
That's
You
why
won't
it's
even know.
important. Yeah, that's why it's important. I always read the reviews,
Yes.
and even though like there's
Got to.
1,000 of them, because at some point somebody has spotted that this is not a legit product,
Mm-hmm.
and like it takes a little while, but I always read them.
It's worth it now. You have to shop completely different than you used to. You have to go through a bunch of reviews. You have to go to the 2-star, 1-stars. That's the only ones you can get actual answers in.
You can see it happen on eBay. Not to dork out on you guys, but I bought a couple GI Joes from 1982, and I'm looking at them in the light, and I'm going, "Those son of a bitches! They gave me replicas. They're not from 1982. They're from like the 2000 era, and they're almost identical, but slightly off." And then you're getting ripped off, man.
So on an eBay, you're buying it. It's electronic, like auction house. On an Amazon, you would expect that there's some sort of fact checking or some sort of process these people have to go through. I mean, I get that if you complain, they will replace it. All the companies will because they don't want a bad score. But it takes like 3 to 4 weeks for you to get your refund and for the whole shebang to be done with. It's just not even worth the headache. So I guess it's just kind of a PSA to watch out in the holiday
Do you
season.
care? Like, I'm the type of person, I'm like, I don't care if it's third party. If it works and everyone's like, I'm surprised, like, this works just as well or fine, then I'm like, I don't care. They're usually cheaper, and I'm like, I'll buy the third party one if it's just as good.
My only concerns are fire hazards. Is just that if it's not under the same scrutiny,
Ah,
and then there's no company to ultimately hold responsible if something bad happens, those things do kind of scare me. Especially if it's electronics tucked behind you got it behind a piece of furniture. You don't even see it. You just smell something burning one day.
Well, thank you, Denny's, for that. That's
So that's just what I've been dealing with trying to order things, man. It's so difficult.
the topic I'd like to kind of bring back is back to dreams. I was starting to talk about that a little bit, and Chewy started barking on me. But in October, so I've cut out caffeine, I've cut out alcohol, I've exercised a lot. And I think when that happens, sometimes you get a little bit more, sometimes you can get some slight clarity. And I feel like now, kind of in retrospect, looking back to my own dreams, that some of the dreams that I had that I can remember with my mother, I feel like she's been trying to give me a message for quite some time. And I know we've talked about that before, Vicky. There was even talk at one point that there was, a feminine type of energy in my place here that I wasn't sure it wasn't my mom or an Aunt Anne. At least that's how I felt of the last, I would say, month or two. And I know you haven't been here for a while. So, but I feel like looking back at some of my dreams, they were a little bit more than just a dream. I kind of feel like there's a message there. And to Beckett's point, you writing them down, I do tend to do that so I don't forget them. And I think that's important to do when you're analyzing not only your dreams, but kind of your own psyche. I think dreams sometimes is also trying to tell you the bullshit that you're working through in your regular day life, and kind of like walking through life on autopilot. I think you can go through your dreams on autopilot too. You can have your dream, it goes fleeting, and then you're on, brushing your teeth or whatever your daily routine is. And I think we need to be a little bit more in tune with our dreams and kind of analyzing that, just to where, is there a correlation to your dream and to what's going on in your life? Maybe you are getting a message and you don't realize it, kind of like walking through life and going on autopilot. There might be messages constantly beating us over the head and we're just not tuned into it. I kind of believe that, to be quite honest with you.
Oh yeah. Do you guys ever have, like, you'll forget a dream and years later something will make you remember, like, something from a dream and you would not remembered it, like I had that happen to me the other day, and I remembered that dream was like at least 10 years ago, and I completely forgot about it, but I remembered that was a dream. That always, like, bizarre to me because it didn't actually happen enough, like, in real life for me to have it in my memory. But
I mean, has anybody had the Ebenezer Scrooge or the Ebenezer Scrooge kind? Well, just you had a dream, and I'm posing this question to the audience as well. Has anyone ever had a dream and they woke up and they changed their life because of that dream? In the history of humanity, I'm sure that's happened.
mm-hmm.
Definitely.
You feel like it's a message. And again, I don't think we even scratched the surface of what dreams are all about, man. I really don't.
I would like to see someone invent some type of device to record our dreams. That would be life-changing.
Yeah. If I could only show you guys some of the night terrors that I've had. The Ted Bundy one is the most horrific one I've ever had. I've told it several times. People are sick of that dream, but that one was a freak. I had that dream at 7. I still talk about it like it happened yesterday.
How did you know about Ted Bundy at 7 years old?
I was allowed to watch way too much stuff probably that I should not have been able to watch. I mean, it was the 80s, Birdney. Parents were smoking in cars. People are having sex underneath the bleachers. REO Speedwagon was top of the charts. It was madness. I'll get into a couple of emails here. Dear Weird and Whatever, I was curious to know what everyone on the podcast's favorite Halloween candy is. And in the same vein, what is the worst? Love the podcast, Gloria from Lake Worth. Let's start off with you, Becca. You're a health nut. What's the best Halloween candy and the worst?
Oh, I thought they said weed candy. They said Halloween candy.
Although there might be a joke there, Denny's Halloween.
Halloween, yeah.
I like it. That's a good question. To a lot of people's annoyance, I don't really have a sweet tooth. I like salty and crunchy, but if I had to pick a best candy, I think I'm a Milky Way kind of guy. I know that's kind of old school, but I love Milky Ways.
Do me a favor. Get out. Get out. Milky Way, Beckett. That's a bitch boy candy bar right there.
Most generic candy bar.
It's like the healthiest one, I think.
I think it's only got nougat, right?
Yeah.
I would say equally as well liked by me, if not maybe a little bit more, is Reese's peanut butter cups in the freezer. I don't think there's anything.
Well, now that's sexy, baby. Now we're dancing. Okay. Yeah.
And totally redeem yourself.
What's the worst candy that you're like, oh, this is garbage?
Oh, Peeps. I hate Peeps.
I hate Peeps too, man. Not a
I don't get why everyone likes Peeps. It's a horrible candy.
Vicky, Lil Vicky is 10 years old. dress like Nancy Drew. What do you what's the best candy? What's the worst candy you get?
Well, see, you just threw me because you said 10 years old, because I don't think Twix had been invented yet when I was 10. That's my favorite candy. But if you're going to go back to 10, it would have been M&Ms. And the worst were those cheap, wrapped in black and orange wrapper
Yeah.
peanut butter crap.
Oh yeah, those are
I
gross.
forgot about those.
Vicky, I don't even know what they're called. I tried to
We
look
know
them
what you're
up,
talking
and
about.
I had to actually type in shitty, waxy Halloween candy, and it finally came up. It's garbage.
It's horrible. And we knew
They
this
are.
one house, we were always going to get that cheap candy every year. Because even it was only like $1 for a 5-gallon bucket of these things. And horrible.
Why do they do it to the kids, Denny's?
Ugh,
I hate 'em.
terrible. I hate
Are-
those. There's a lot of old candy that's just horrific.
You're right. All right, Sweet Denny's. Sweet Denny's is 10 years old. And by the way, if you're 10 years old in the year 2020, we'll make it easy. Sweet
They should not
Denny's
be
is
in here if they are 10 years old. That's what we should be saying.
So, if we're going by candy that you would get on Halloween typically, I'd say the king is always the Snickers bars. You get the Snickers, you get like 5 or 6 of those. They're awesome. The worst candy, in my opinion, is black licorice or Good and Plenty's are pretty rough. I hate licorice. I don't know how that's considered candy.
the balls on them to put the word good
Oh,
on their
yeah.
product.
There's just plenty.
I mean, that's depression candy. If you're going through a depression, you're like, oh shit, this is great. That's hostage candy, that food.
Yeah.
If you haven't eaten 11 days, you think Good and Plenty is okay.
I hate licorice, man.
I hate it. Good answers, by the way, across the board, other than Beckett's first one. Birdney, the floor's yours.
I would say Kit Kat is probably my favorite. I love Kit Kats, Reese's, and Twix, but Kit Kat probably takes the lead. Besides all the obvious ones, I'm not a big what's it? Nougat?
Nougat, I hate nougat.
It's nougat.
That one, yeah. But I don't like candies with that. So like I don't like Three Musketeers. I don't really like Snickers because it has that also in there. Milky
What?
Ways I don't like. Because
Birdman.
what's that texture? That's a
I think it's
nougat,
just
right?
whipped sugar, right? Is that what nougat's made of? Whipped sugar and
You guys know
carrot?
what you're it's like the fluffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nougat.
I'm sorry, Bird. I don't
It
like it.
hurts. It hurts, Birdney. It's our first fight.
I'll fight you. I'm gonna throw Kit Kats at you. And
That's
you make-
actually, I call that foreplay.
Okay. Well, there you
So
go.
what's yours?
So the little Jaybird knocking on Halloween doors was always disappointed anytime to get those little circle mints, the old people mints you get at a restaurant.
That's not
That's
candy.
That's bullshit for a kid on Halloween. Come on, what are you doing? But if you want to get the big three, you got Reese's peanut butter cups are always going to win. Snicker bar are always going to win. And then that third one, it's always interchangeable. You got either Twix that I love Baby Ruth, I love Butterfinger. I mean, chocolate. Chocolate is the Cadillac for Halloween. And I don't give a shit. You can keep your Jolly Ranchers. You can keep your Nerds. I want chocolate, Denny's.
Yeah, I never was a fan of just the candy, like pure sugar candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you give me a now and later for Halloween, I don't know. You might get an egg.
You're not talking to me now and later.
Yeah, the Starburst, all that stuff. I go chocolate.
I mean, look, Starburst, it's a good candy. I'm not dissing Starburst. For Halloween, it's bullshit, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wonder if people are gonna, tighten up their game. They've made candy easier to get. Remember, they used to have way shitty candy that was just everywhere. Now you can actually go to, grocery stores and buy all sorts of variety bags. They make it easy for you now. So if anyone sucks at Halloween these days, it's like, come on, that's on you, right?
Look, I'm going to be giving out king-size Snicker bars. And Dennis, can you take this? I got to tend to Chewy real quick, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Topic will be king-size Snicker bars and Mountain Dew. Good or bad for the youth?
Awful for the use.
So, I don't know if you've seen the latest trend with just soda pop. Anytime there's a new soda pop on the market, it has 80 grams of sugar now and high fructose corn syrup on top of that. So think about it, it's double sweetener in one drink. That's the average. And now they've made it, I guess, as people get used to the size of things, the cans are now this tall. So you're
That's
getting,
like the whole Super Size Me documentary. Like they went
yeah.
into that like 20 years ago now. Believe like it's insane.
I think
Do you
we're
guys,
becoming more health conscious overall. Go on, Beckett.
do you guys remember? Think it was called Fun Dip, and it had multiple packets of flavor with
Oh, yeah.
sugar, like a sugar stick that you used to lick and dip in the flavored
They still have
sugar
that.
and suck it. They do?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
you
They put.
should go to a candy store. It's really a fun time.
Have you guys, Bird? I'm curious. Have you ever had like real chocolate before? Because I do like my Halloween candies, but in comparison to like real chocolate, it really is. It's really sad in comparison.
Did Virginia join the show? Because I'm hearing a fancy pants talk.
Have you
Stubby.
though? I'm doing it
I
because I'm
have.
like,
I have,
but
and
it's so good, right? Like,
it is. It's good, but look, I grew up on the wrong side of the streets in Lake Park, and I was raised on street candy, and I
get it. It's still good.
love a Snickers. I
it's
love,
just a different league.
a underrated candy bar, in my opinion, is the whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit's good. Get that crunch.
Those are
Yeah.
good. So, what is it? Butterfingers? What's in the center of those? Because I feel like that gets stuck in your teeth for 9
Like
hours.
in the side, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Some kind of
embedded.
peanut butter creation.
The biggest candy that gives you the biggest workout. You ever go in the movie theater and think you're gonna eat some Rolos,
Oh, jeez.
and then it's like not Rolos, Milk Duds. Oh
Milk
my
Duds,
gosh,
yeah.
Milk
Oh,
Duds.
yes.
You can't even enjoy the movie. If I'm eating Milk Duds and there's subtitles, I'm like, this is not a fun movie experience for me.
Those have raisins in them, right?
No, Denny's. What the shit?
So I don't know if I'm familiar with the milk dud.
Everyone hates on me for liking hot tamales. I'm obsessed with hot tamales. I think they are extremely underrated.
Those
You guys
are
like-
good. I used to like them.
Yeah, really good. I do like Raisinets too.
Well, on that note, I think I gotta shut down the podcast. Raisinets, Beckett. I'm just kidding. Raisinets aren't too bad. They're not in the top 10 though, Beckett.
Well, what I would say for purposes of the context, I agree. The Halloween candy's got to be the down and dirty candy. Save that fancy truffle, whatever candy, extravagant thing for Valentine's Day. You got to have the rough and dirty candy for Halloween.
Yeah, that's the 31st is when I'm getting off my diet, and I'm gonna get so fat and sassy, Birdney.
Let's do it.
I mean, you guys want to have a fat and sassy party? I'm the guy to get
Always.
fat and sassy with. I want to read a couple more emails, then we're going to shut her down. Let's see here. Dear Weird and Whatever, I was curious. Oh, sorry, I just read that one. Dear Weird and Whatever, my friend claims to see dead people. If I read this one, I apologize. I don't think I did. Dear Weird and Whatever, my friend claims to see dead people and spirits. She says they're definitely more active during Halloween time. I wanted to see if Vicky or Jaybird thought that was true or not. Do you both see more spirits during Halloween time? Love the podcast. Ricky from the Pizzle. Any correlation, Vicky? Halloween time, it's spookier out, it's creepier out.
No, I've never found any correlation. Sometimes I will have more investigations, but that used to be like back in the day when you guys let me on the radio, like near Halloween, and I was on KVJ, and then people would hear me, and then they'd contact point, and I'd have a bunch of investigations. So, but as far as activity, no. And the next thing somebody might ask is about a full moon. I actually have picked up less activity on a full moon. So that's what I
Maybe
found.
full moons make people crazy and not spirits crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
And they're
so-
like, these people are too crazy. I'm staying hidden right now.
Some people really believe in that moon stuff to where they think moods are changing. I saw one documentary, and it was just on the city of Detroit. In Detroit, during this time period, they were tracking it. Full moons, murders were through the roof compared to other times throughout the year. And just, I thought kind of interesting note.
There
You
must be
want-
something to be said about moons, because think, if say just for simple fundamentals, 3 things required for life would be the sun, water, And you could argue the moon because it created an axis for us to rotate to give us consistent seasons. So those three things are incredibly important. You have to imagine that has some sort of influence on human life.
Well, you wonder if, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you don't know why. Maybe you got all the sleep you needed, but you still are in a crabby mood. You do wonder sometimes, hey, is there other outside forces, environment, atmosphere going on here that I don't even know, I'm not even aware of? Maybe like the moon, or when the tides are high. Any of that
Possibly
bullshit.
magnetic fields affecting people's moods or thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things.
All of it, Denny's.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
tons of stuff we can't see that's still there, whether we acknowledge it or not.
There's a
So you
whole
wonder
new
if-
world out there, Denny's, that we
Oh,
can't
yeah.
see. Vicky can attest to that. Well, guys, I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. I really apologize for the technical difficulties. We're gonna try to do it next week. I'd like to get us back, at least see how that goes, and I think it'd be easier for the people to digest the podcast as well. Any final thoughts from anybody? Anybody have anything to plug?
No, just Twitch as usual. If you would like to follow me on Twitch at Cafe Sparrow, that's it.
I think our signature, our awkward ending, I think is kind of our signature thing. And then Chewy barking us out. I love it. Well, thank you, weirdos. Don't forget to leave the comments below. Oh, and if you are listening on Facebook right now and you're still with us, if you could do me a favor and just share the shit out of this podcast. All you got to do is hit share, and you are helping out the weirdos so much. My bosses look at this, so it does help us out greatly. It helps out the KBJ show too. So share this bitch. All right, guys, we love you all, and
Bigfoot is
Bigfoot is
real.
real.